So at this point, we're a few months into 2023, and I realized the legal framework that would have to be created with this. I, use my better judgment to call a lawyer and say, hey, this is my idea. What am I thinking about legal here? Because the most important thing to me after seeing people being scammed in this industry for years, like I had a very, very big underlying disgust at the industry. Everything from TradingView to Binance to all the exchanges to funded platforms. People were bleeding money in this industry left and right. It was disgusting. It was stop losses not being triggered. It was TradingView implementing feature after feature for no real reason. It was just it was silly rules in funded accounts. It was so rampant between the hacks, the scams, the fake influencers, like the whole entire industry. I'm convinced that like a solid 95% of it is pure poison at this point. And I called a lawyer to be like, hey, this is what we're doing. I'm trying to clean up the industry. What kind of legal stuff am I thinking about? Because I want to just protect everybody involved. I want my customers to be protected. I want to create a safe place for them. And I really want to create something that is going to be future-proofed for everybody to use. And so, lo and behold, months of discussions with a lawyer. And first off, it wasn't any lawyer. He's a securities and FTC lawyer, and he's one of the best in the country. And he's done major projects in these spaces before, not like this because it's a world first, but other things that would be considered in the same arena, sports betting, things like that, which we aren't betting, sports betting, any type like that, but they would fall under some of the same laws that they would. So he was a great resource for me. And we ended up learning that this was going to be a long journey and that we were one day going to have to lobby the government to make sure that this was safe for everybody, and that most of these exchanges through doing, big investigative work on them, they operate in very dark areas, in very legally gray spaces, as everybody knows, in countries that don't pay taxes for a reason, where they can't be held liable, where they can take your money and run with it if they want, because you're agreeing to operate under, the laws of Malta or some other place that doesn't really have governance, right? So like, you go through this decision. Do we release something like that and be gone in 2 years and make a ton of money? Or do we actually try to build something that can be here in 10, 20, 30, 40 years and change the industry in gaming and day trading? And I took the approach that I don't want to be in and out in 2 years. I want to create something that's legit, legal to use for everybody, protects our customers. So we go through this whole thing of adding safeguard after safeguard, everything from geofencing our software to allowing people to lock their accounts. We have panels where you can go on and click lock my account for 7 days, 300 days. I need a break. I need to speak with somebody. Gambling helplines, addiction helplines, suicide helplines. You name it, privacy policies, user information, things to allow people to lock their own accounts to protect themselves, things where they can limit their amount that they put into the software, limit the amount that they can take out of the software, just constant rules and regulations to help create the framework to allow people to protect themselves, for us to protect their money, for us to be able to ethically say this is a safe platform, just everything that nobody in the industry is doing. We took a big stance on, and we had 6 months of legal work that we did, and we continue to do legal work. We have to lobby in the next year, and that's going to cost us millions of dollars to change some of the laws that allow our users to successfully go on this, make money, create a career for themselves, and to be able to have a tax form to submit to their government and legally do that, and to continue to create that safe space for people, not to just do it for 1 or 2 years and then disappear before we get caught like most of these exchanges do, but to be able to legally say, we are a service that people can log on, they can make money on our service, and they can pay their taxes with those monies because we can submit tax forms for them on their behalf, and it's all legal and above board, and it's safe for everybody. So this is extremely important to us at Chart Raiders, and it was a big part of our 2023. We spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on our lawyer in legal framework. And when I say hundreds of thousands of dollars, I want people to realize I have self-funded this project from day one. I'm not born into nepotism. I have just made a lot of money in day trading. I was born into a poor area. I have a special mind that allows me to create these kinds of projects. And I took all my crypto savings that I had made since the beginning of my YouTube journey to help fund this project. And I still do. You're talking about it's self-funded by me. I've done a ton of work. I sleep for 3 to 4 hours a day. And I work for the other 18. When I need to work out, I swing a kettlebell as I'm waiting for tests to run. I do jumping jacks as I'm rendering out video files. That's the life of creating something like this, is big sacrifice and, just a ton of countless nights where you just lose all your time. For example, today it's Christmas Day. It's around 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and I'm sitting here recording videos instead of opening presents with my family because my kids are going to have to wait till after I'm done recording before we open presents. And that's just the life of what it is. And, it's important to me to protect my community and protect the people who get involved in chart raiders. And so the legal battle has been a huge one with chart raiders to get this thing operating properly for people.